From the Northern Cape.
All right. What is your question?
The Deputy President alluded to the fact that there are going to be vibrant activities in local government in their contribution to the realization of the NDP. And I'm putting this question forth to just to establish what plans are in place, if there are any. If they are not, then when would those be ready? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there another question in this area? Raise your hand. There's one over here. I'm going to get 3 questions at a time because I think one at a time is it's just going to take too much time. All right, where are you? There you were here. All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What's your name?
Bongani Jack.
All right, Bongani, tell me, what is your question?
My question is the issue of finance, which is the financial services industry, that is not transformed to assist the NTP. Currently, you have only 10 companies managing 95% of 4.9 trillion of this country. And transformation in that area is not that much good. So the question that we're asking is that, what is the government going to be doing in addressing that impasse to stimulate this growth that is needed in terms of the transformation of the financial services industry to assist the development?
Right. Good question. Coming from Transnet. I've got another question over here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Leanne.
All right, what is your name?
My name is Tolisane Galada. Right. I stay here in Cape Town in Khayelitsha, to be specific. My question to the Deputy President is one. We've heard the President yesterday alluding to the fact that, quite a lot of support will be given to local municipalities. Now, what I would like to know, what does it entail, the actual support? Because, those that you've referred as having those downward syndrome, pulling syndrome, are actually saying that, is the government actually throwing money into the problem. We know that, our local government, there's quite a challenge in terms of, engineers and those skills that are scarce. So I would like to get more from the Deputy President to be specific exactly what is the support entails that will provide to local government.
Good. Right, I've read that question a few times on Twitter as well. I must say, some people also asking, you've highlighted that there are problems. The President highlighted 11 amazing municipalities that are performing well, but what about those that aren't doing well? So those are 3 questions from the audience so far. I can see there are lots more. Hang on a sec. I promise I'm coming. I promise you. All right, let's get the answers to those ones.
Deputy President.
Minister Pravin Gordhan is here. And as there is no free lunch or breakfast, I see Leanne is approaching him. He is going to be addressing precisely those issues that revolve around local government. So he must answer. And I thought that Deputy Minister Jonas is also here to address the one on financial services, if he is here.
All right. Minister, you may rise. This is your moment to shine. Good to see you. And congratulations on your new appointment. We're throwing you in the deep end. Here we go. This is yours.
Well, I think the point the President was making yesterday is that, firstly, many of us are unaware that democratic local government is only 14 years old. Secondly, that there are many municipalities that do work in South Africa, and that by and large, if you compare ourselves to probably most of the continent and most of the developing world, our local government system is quite resilient, despite all the issues that we have. Thirdly, well, he's given us the job of coordinating a group of ministers to ensure that we, firstly, diagnose where are our so-called delivery problems. Secondly, respond to those problems with a far greater sense of urgency and rapidity than we might have been able to do until now. Thirdly, look at the systems of delivery in South Africa. And if you take water as an example, water and sanitation are key issues in many parts of the country. And we are a water-scarce country. But I believe that as government, we do have a plan for bulk water and reticulation as well. But the investment processes in water and sanitation aren't happening in the right kind of way. So this is only 3 weeks into the job. But I think in the next few weeks, we'll be able to come up with a plan which will take even the few engineers that we have and deploy them properly, work with the private sector so that we get the right kind of skills in the right places. But there are also a few naughty things that are happening on the local government side, where we appoint people with the wrong skills in the right positions, and some of those habits need to be corrected. So, because if we're going to serve our people and do the right things and ensure that we respond to their needs, then we need to admit where the faults are and correct those faults. But far more importantly, we need to be a lot more optimistic about our local government system and build on the 20 years of democracy and the good work that we have done. Remember that South Africa had over 1,000 odd so-called municipal structures before 1994. We have just over 270 now. And some of them do have financial difficulties as well. So together with the Ministry of Finance, we'll look at those issues and see how we can actually assist them.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Minister. I think answering that question quite adequately.
Yes.
I know I've got to find the Deputy Minister in the Department of Finance.
Deputy Minister of Finance.
Where are you, please?
Let me see.
Okay,
Jonas, where are you, sir?
Okay, he doesn't seem to be here.
Don't think so.
All right. Okay.
But the issue really revolves around how the financial services sector needs to be made to be more responsive to the developmental needs of our country. And indeed, we would like to see the financial services sector being so well responsive that it makes finance accessible. One of the key problems that our people have is lack of access to finance and lack of support from the financial services sector. It is indeed an issue that we're focusing on. And at government level, we have rolled out quite a big chunk of money to support small and medium enterprises, youth entrepreneurial development, and we would like to see the private sector following suit, supporting small and medium enterprises and making finance available. And this is something that will stimulate further growth in our economy. And in the meeting that the President will hold with the business working group, this is one of the issues that will be addressed. And as you heard him yesterday, he also said that we want to look very closely at our developmental finance institutions, that they should be more development oriented. They should focus more on development and make sure that finance becomes available for developmental challenges.
A term that came through one of the first questions is the National Development Plan.
Yeah.
When you spoke to us earlier, you said that this pretty much is the centerpiece in terms of strategy going forward. My question to you is, how are we going to get this into the hearts and minds of every single South African? Because I think the only way it can work is that if we all own it. And I get a sense that most people haven't even looked at it, don't know what it is, they've just heard about it, and government can't do it alone. How does this National Development Plan become the document? I keep hearing people saying, how are we going to move forward? And yet it's all there. How do we make it real?
Well, we make it real in a number of ways. One of those is clearly that South Africans must gain an interest in what happens at the public level. They must become part of the public discourse. And becoming part of the public discourse is that you must get interested in what happens in your own country. And when iconic documents like the National Development Plan are put out there in the public, you should make it your job to get to access to them and to read them. And it's very easy to get hold of the National Development Plan. For those who use tablets like I do, you just download it, NDP 2030.
Right. Let me break it down another way then. I, Joe Soap, want to contribute.
Yeah.
What do I do? What chapter do I read in the NDP? I can't read the whole thing. It's hundreds and hundreds of pages long. That's the attitude that people have.
Precisely the point. Many of the people who are sitting here and some of those who are listening at home do go online and they can download the plan. And the plan that you download is in executive summary form. You're able to choose a chapter that you want to look at, be it energy, be it local government, be it general governance. You should be able to get into it. The other way of interacting with the plan, of course, is to look very closely at what government is going to be doing going forward, because much of what our ministries and departments are going to be doing is to implement the plan. So when the ministers, for instance, stand up in Parliament to outline their budget votes, a lot of what they are going to be articulating will be based on the plan, and they will be setting out plans of implementing this. And by the way, the plan is being implemented as we speak. The infrastructure development rollout is very much in line with the plan, so it is being implemented. The industrial plan that we've got is being implemented, is very much part of the National Development Plan. So we invite all South Africans to get actively involved in understanding the plan.
I think there's going to need to be a section that says what to do next. I can click on that and it's on the website, so that I can physically go out and say, okay, Deputy President said I must do this today, and then start going, because I think a lot of people are a bit lost with it. But anyway, we'll unpack that a little bit further as we go on. There's some questions that have come through here already, so let's go to table 31, and this is Dev Chamru, I think. Table 31, where's Dev Chamru? There we go.
Good morning. I bring the greetings of my Prime Minister of Mauritius and the people. Nice to hear about the priorities of South Africa, which your government will be implementing. But for us, when you look at the S in BRICS, which stands for South Africa, also stands for the whole of Africa. I think South Africa has an important role to help the integration of the continent. We are falling apart or afar in the implementation of the African Union integration plan, and we would wish that South Africa takes the lead on that one. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to answer that question, Mr. Deputy President?
Thank you very much for those remarks. We are humbled by what you've just said. We see ourselves as being very much a part of Africa. We do not by any means want to see ourselves, being a leader. We work in conjunction and in collaboration with all other countries, cooperating with them and learning from them as well. We're learning as much as we can from other countries on the continent, and where we can make a contribution, we make a contribution willingly. As you know, our president is chairperson of the Infrastructure Committee for the whole African continent, and next week he will be attending the summit of the AU, and he's going to table a report on the issues that regard infrastructure on the whole continent. So we will continue acting in that way. We actually see Africa being the rest of the African continent in the form of various countries in Africa being our key trading partners, key business partners, and we want to trade with them. We want to do business in their countries just as much as we want them to do business in South Africa as well. So South Africa is very, very much intricately linked, not only from a geographic point of view, but also from an economic point of view with the rest of the African continent. And thank you very much. Mauritius is a very special country to South Africa for a whole number of reasons, not only for the wonderful beaches that you have, but from a business point of view as well.
Yes, to Mr. Chamru, bienvenue à Afrique du Sud. Thank you very much for joining us. Leanne, where are you